Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the 2021 International Conference on Official Statistics. On behalf of Statistics Korea and the United Nations Statistics Division, I'd like to thank all of the speakers and participants for joining us to this event. I am Hyunshim Amy Choi, Master of Ceremony of this conference. This year's International Conference on Official Statistics provides 8 sessions during 3 days from today under the theme of the role of data and statistics in understanding and mitigating risk, what we have learned from the crisis situations, including the global pandemic. The conference takes the form of an untagged online event in order to cope with the prevailing COVID-19 conditions and ensure the safety of its participants. The fact that we are unable to meet in person is disappointing, but participants can join us real time via online, either through the official conference website or YouTube. If you registered at the conference and are joining us through a live streaming in our official conference website, you can choose either Korean or English channel using the live streaming menu options. Also, anyone joining us through our official website can raise questions and share comments through the website. There is a comment section under the live streaming tab in the website, and we encourage you to actively participate in Q&A and discussion by using this comment section to compose your questions and comments. The website also provides detailed information of this conference, including its program, biography of speakers, and presentation materials for downloading. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Francesca Perucci, Assistant Director of the UNSD, who will be moderating the opening session of the conference. Ms. Perucci oversees the work of development data, open data, data integration and dissemination, and other global data initiatives at the UNSD. Throughout her UN career, she has actively promoted the use of data and statistics for development and pioneered new ways of producing, analyzing, and communicating data for policy and decision-making. Ms. Perucci, let me give the floor to you.
Thank you, and hello everybody, and welcome to this International Conference on Official Statistics. The focus of the conference this year is the role of data and statistics in understanding and mitigating risk, what we have learned from crisis situations, including the global pandemic. The United Nations Statistics Division has a long-established collaboration with Statistics Korea and has jointly organized a number of international seminars and conferences over the years, including last year's 6th International Conference on Big Data. I'm very pleased to be working with Statistics Korea again, although we cannot be there in person. The theme of the conference this year was decided in response to the dramatic impact the COVID-19 pandemic had on all our lives, both in our personal and professional capacity, and to reflect and build on the important lessons we have learned over these past 18 months. In consultation with our colleagues at Statistics Korea, we have agreed to approach this theme from the broader perspective of the role of data and statistics in situations of crisis and disasters. So these next 3 days, we will have the opportunity to hear from a wide range of experts from national statistical systems, international and regional agencies, and many other organizations that will share their experiences, ideas, and recommendations on how to move forward. As we emerge from the current crisis and face the possibility of future disasters, we as a global data and statistical community can together coordinate our actions to build more robust, agile, responsive data ecosystems. And now to officially open the conference, it is my great honor to introduce the Commissioner of Statistics Korea, Dr. Ken Kwan-gyu, who joins us via video message.
Dear Director Schweinfest of the UN Statistics Division, distinguished guests, it's my sincere pleasure to welcome you all to the 2021 International Conference on Official Statistics. It is organized jointly by Statistics Korea and the UNSD, held virtually under the theme of the role of data and statistics in understanding and mitigating risk. This conference will be a useful opportunity for us to learn hands-on about how each National Statistical Office, as a producer of official statistics and the data steward, has been responding to the pandemic. Dear colleagues, integrated official statistics have never been more important than right now. COVID-19 has completely transformed our daily statistical operations. In this pandemic era, we are tasked with a heavy burden of maximizing the use of new data sources while retaining the continuity of our core activities. Please allow me to share some initiatives COSTAT has been implementing in response to and in preparation for the post-COVID era. COSTAT recently completed the population and housing census in 2020 and the economic census in 2021. To prevent the spread of the virus while engaging as many households and establishments as possible in our surveys, COSTAT developed alternative data collection methods such as telephone, web, and mobile-based surveys. And we also heavily used administrative data. The effort was rewarded by high participation rate, over 96% in the population and the housing census, and more than 99% in the economic census despite pandemic. The demand for data has been growing in an effort to combat the virus and build new socioeconomic policies. The pandemic has brought about changes to the survey environment, making data collection more complicated and data ever more critical. As we all recognize, the more data is gathered, integrated, and linked, the bigger value added it can create. Yet, this raises concerns about privacy exposure. It is against this backdrop that the K-Statistics system was born as a cloud-based platform that uses top-notch encryption technology and the statistics register to safely link disaggregated data from ministries and public institutions. The platform will enable statisticians and data scientists to maximize the value of national administrative data while ensuring protection of personal information. There is a Korean saying that goes, bees become a treasure only when strung together. As a trusted data steward, the K-Statistics system will harness two pillars of data security and data linkage in order to offer policymakers high-quality statistics in a timely manner. COSTAT is happy to share the K-Statistics system with the global community, especially with the developing countries, through official development assistance projects. Dear colleagues, it's unfortunate, but we have to admit that the end of COVID-19 is still far away. It seems clear that we cannot go back to business as usual. And the key is to keep responding resiliently to new forthcoming challenges. As an econometrician and the incumbent commissioner of COSTAT, I firmly believe that statistics are indeed a record of life written in numbers. Now, we have 3 days to strengthen the leadership of national statistical offices and multilateral communications. I hope that the discussion will be fruitful and that we expand our capabilities beyond the traditional role of producing statistics. Let me conclude by thanking Director Schweinfest once again for co-hosting this meaningful conference. My deep gratitude also goes to our distinguished keynote speakers, moderators, session speakers, and panelists who will be sharing their insight and expertise. Last but not least, I would like to offer a warm welcome to all the attendees who will be making the 2021 International Conference on Official Statistics more informative by sharing their knowledge with us. COSTAT looks forward to welcoming you in person at a later conference in Korea when COVID-19 is finally over. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ju. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce my dear friend and colleague, the Director of the United Nations Statistics Division, Mr. Stefan Schweinfest. Stefan, over to you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished Commissioner Kyung-Kwan Ryu, dear experts and colleagues around the world, it is my sincere pleasure to be virtually with you at this International Conference on Official Statistics. The focus of this year's conference, as we have heard, on the role of data and statistics in understanding and mitigating risk is timely, as the global pandemic continues to impact the lives and well-being of citizens across the globe. I would like to thank the government of Korea for hosting this international conference and express my sincere gratitude to Commissioner Kyung-Kwan Ryu for his support. This conference is part of the long-standing collaboration between our office and Statistics Korea. It highlights the continued dedication of Statistics Korea to the global statistical system and its willingness to step up to emerging challenges. Data ecosystems and statistical systems need to be agile to quickly address data and statistics demands, swiftly responding to emerging situations. They also need resilient infrastructures that can remain in place and be operational in times of crisis. Countries are faced with a range of situations for which they need to be prepared. Natural disasters, health, disease outbreaks, financial collapse, humanitarian crises. These types of events are not business as usual. Coordination between the national statistical system and other national agencies working on disaster management is a key component to address the data and statistics needs in a crisis situation. At its 49th session, the United Nations Statistical Commission welcomed a greater focus on disaster-related statistics, given the importance of the Sendai framework. The Sendai framework sets out a pathway to reduce disaster risks and loss of lives, livelihoods, and health. One step taken by the United Nations Statistical Commission to address the importance of an improved understanding of disaster risk reduction was to establish, at its 50th session in 2019, the Interagency and Expert Group on Disaster-Related Statistics. The primary objective is to advance a common statistical framework on disaster-related statistics involving a network of experts to sustain cooperation, coordination, and fundraising for enhancing statistics related to hazardous events and disasters. The Interagency and Expert Group is currently co-chaired by ESCAP, the Economic and Social Commission of Asia and Pacific, and the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction. Addressing the data needs of the Sustainable Development Goals has been at the forefront of the global statistical community since the adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. When the pandemic emerged, the urgent need for timely, integrated, granular data and statistics became even more evident. Governments needed to react immediately with data to track the course of the infections, develop the mitigating strategies, and plan for recovery measures. The current pandemic has clearly brought to light the role of data and statistics in understanding and mitigating risk. Over the course of this international conference, we will hear from national statisticians about their efforts to implement the changes needed to adapt to the COVID-19 pandemic. We will also hear from international agencies about their work with countries on natural disasters to improve the measurement of disaster-related statistics. As the world begins to build back better, it is essential to have adequate data and statistics to fully address the needs of the population and ensure that no one is left behind. Building solid, interoperable systems will allow for more integrated and often localized responses to crisis. As we plan for the future, we need to examine the lessons learned. New partnerships between government agencies and across the data ecosystem were established to allow for faster data exchange. Some of these innovations used to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic can be incorporated into business as usual, so that national statistical systems can better respond to data demands and are also ready for the next crisis. For example, new initiatives focusing on the use of mobile data and geospatial information, the use of big data, can become part of regular data production and used to fulfill data needs. At the same time, while the global COVID-19 crisis has increased the need for high quality, timely, and disaggregated data for effective crisis management and recovery, it has also exacerbated data inequalities. In order to reduce these data inequalities and ensure that countries can rely on resilient and agile statistical and data systems to respond to crises and future shocks, it is necessary to ensure that data and statistics are adequately and effectively resourced. There is therefore an urgent need to make financing for development data and statistics smarter, and to use emerging innovations and momentum in the international community to increase the amount and improve the quality of financial support to data and statistics. In this context, we have now a unique opportunity with the planned formal launch of 2 new key solutions for mobilizing smarter finance for developing data at the upcoming United Nations World Data Forum in October this year. Number 1, there is the World Bank's Global Data Facility. And number 2, there is the Bern Network's Clearinghouse for financing development data. The World Bank's Global Data Facility will aim to scale up support for subnational, national, and global data and statistics priorities, whilst the Bern Network's Clearinghouse for financing development data will make financing for data smarter, complementing the Global Data Facility by acting as its information and community hub, helping inform the allocation of effective resources. Dear experts and colleagues, I want to thank you, the moderators and speakers and participants, for joining from all different time zones. Over the past 18 months, we have all attended many virtual meetings and conferences and changed the way we work. Your participation at this international conference really shows your commitment to contributing to the work of the global statistical community and improving data for all. I look forward to the outcome of your deliberations and wish you all a much success for your conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefan, and thanks again to Commissioner Dew. This concludes the opening session. Dear colleagues, I look very much forward to hearing your experiences over the next 3 days, and I wish you all a great conference. Thank you.